Nuggets. As you mentioned earlier, you just finished watching the Nuggets and Suns game, and I also watched the game. The Nuggets now lead 2-0. What are your thoughts on this series?
Very little has surprised me in this series. I mean, we spoke about it last week, right? Like, the Suns just don't have enough depth, and they struggled against the Clippers, and they needed Booker and KD to average almost 70 points combined to beat the Clippers, and they barely beat the Clippers on a game-to-game basis, right?
Without Paul George.
Yeah. So for me, like, for me, walking into series, and I said this like last week, is I thought the series would end in 6, but possibly in 5 games, with Denver winning relatively easily, just because Denver is so much more balanced. They've been together for a good 3 to 4 years now, whereas this Phoenix team, for the most part, they were just put together, and they're too top heavy. So them winning 2-0 is not, or them being up 2-0 is not surprising. Groin injuries are tricky, so I'm pretty sure that Chris Paul will not be ready for game 3. So I still think the series will end in 5 or 6 games. I'm leaning more towards 5 now without Chris Paul being out, because groins you cannot move laterally when you have a strained groin. You cannot move laterally.
An older player, which hurts him even more. Like, even without a strained groin, he can barely move.
Yeah,
alone.
Yeah, and then if you were, and I'm sure you were watching the game, but in the fourth quarter, after Chris Paul went out, like the fourth quarter, the Suns' offense was just Booker and
super ISO.
Durant just going, my turn, your turn.
Yeah, like back in the
OKC. And other than a dunk by Ayton, no one else scored, right? No one even looked to score. Like, and I texted you this when it happened, but with 3 minutes left to go, Josh Okogie was in the paint. He got the ball 7 feet away from the rim. He pump faked, wide open, didn't shoot, he just passed the ball out. Right. So when you're supporting players, like he's just starting small forward, and he was unwilling to shoot the ball. Right. So I just think that the Suns don't have enough offense. They don't have enough depth. And if Chris Paul is out, then they don't have enough period to keep up with the Nuggets. Will they be able to win a game at home without Chris Paul? They might be able to win one game, but if Chris Paul is hurt for
the rest of the
series, then this series is over in 5.
Yeah, I 100% agree. As we mentioned, they just don't have depth. They lost one of their starters in Chris Paul, and yeah, I mean, the Nuggets are pretty much playing as well as we thought they would be. Very balanced game. And I think one big issue with the Suns is not just their depth, but also the poor play of Ayton. Now, to be fair, he's going against Jokic. It's going to be a tough matchup, but they just paid him kind of forcefully. And he's just not having a good series.
Like
15
Ayton,
points. 15 points.
It's so frustrating because, like, he's such a finesse big. Like, he's too finesse. So, like, Jokic played 41 minutes, but it wasn't like a heavy 41 minutes because Jokic did not have to work hard for his 30 points.
But there's no post game, right? So it's like it wasn't like Ayton was backing him down or trying to back him down, or anything like that. So
exactly. So it was a relatively, like, I don't want to say easy 41 minutes, because in the NBA, especially in the playoffs, like, for 41 minutes is a lot of minutes. But if you watch the game, like, Jokic would just bring out the ball. He would get the ball in the post, or he'd get the ball in the elbow. He would just kind of like read what the offense is doing. He just make a pass. If there's no pass to make, he would just do like a quick pull up over Ayton, or he'd do a quick 1-2 dribble spin move, and that was basically it. And he didn't need to guard Ayton on offense much at all. So it was a relatively, like, not easy 41 minutes, but it wasn't like a grueling 41 minutes. It wasn't compared to the 41 minutes that, like, Durant and Booker had to play, where they would just had to like carry the offense in every single possession, right?
They're the only one scoring, so if they miss, that's it offensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the numbers from tonight's game. I mean, like for example, the Damian Lee played 25 minutes. Guess how many points Damian Lee had when he played 25 minutes?
0.
He had 0 points. Cameron Payne played 16 minutes and he scored only 2 points. These are just very inefficient numbers. And it's not like they're like great defenders either. So like I don't know what they're offering. So I can understand why they play Okogie. They kind of have to because they have no one else. But he's also, I think he's generally a decent defender, a pretty good defender. But I mean, it's tough. He's not a good offensive player. And so, yeah, long story short, I completely agree with you. I think that the Suns should be able to pull out a win at home. I mean, to be fair, they also had a lead, a pretty short lead in the third quarter. It was just after the CP3 injury, Nuggets started getting hot, hitting their shots, and the Suns couldn't respond. So
Yeah, but I do think that even if CP3 didn't get hurt, that the Nuggets still would have won, just because like Durant and Booker would have ran out of gas the same way that they would have ran gas with or without CP3, right? Because what makes it so difficult is that Booker and KD have to guard on the opposite end, and that just tires them out even more, right? And the Nuggets were able to be very patient on the offense, and they're able to guard KD and Booker straight up, right? Because they did not double team much at all this entire game, right? They basically allow KD and Booker just play 1-on-1 the entire time. There was no double team at all. The only times that they ever double team KD and or Booker is when one of those two guys were out on the court together, which never happened, right? So they basically said, KD and Booker, shoot 60 times. If you beat us, you beat us. But the rest of your team is not going to beat us, and the rest of the team couldn't beat them, right? So I don't see that changing in game 3 or 4 unless Booker and KD average 80 combined, right? Combined.
Yeah.
Because they almost averaged, they got what, 60 today together. So I mean, yeah, man, I think it'd be very difficult for the Suns to win